A Staten Island man is being sent to Rikers Island over an HOA dispute. That's it, that's the whole story. I didn't know this was possible, but the HOA can send you to Rikers Island. Now let me give you the details and tell you how this all played out. It blows my mind. Joseph Riccardi is the Staten Island man who's been sentenced to hard time in Rikers Island over a $500,000 dispute with his condo's Homeowners Association. Now, in regard to his prison sentence, he says this: there are people committing serious crimes who don't even have to post bail and are free, yet I'm in Rikers? It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm a 57-year-old grandfather, worked 35 years in the finance industry. Maybe you do deserve to be in Rikers. I'm just kidding. I haven't got a parking ticket in 20 years. I've never so much as sat in a police car. Now, how did it come to this? What the hell happened? Well, let's start at the beginning. Let's go all the way back to 2006, where the story begins. This is when Riccardi had purchased a penthouse apartment in a building for nearly $1 million. Pretty pricey, okay? Now, at some point after the building went up in 1989, someone added to the size of the penthouse, the building's board says. The lawsuit says the addition exclusively used certain portions of the roof and it is in violation of the city's building code. Riccardi said he learned that the 1,500 square foot rooftop addition was completed by a previous owner, though one architect later told him the space was in fact part of the building's original construction. Nonetheless, the Homeowners Association cited him for violations dating back in 2016. Now, a case that finally snowballed into sending the 57-year-old to Rikers Island. So Ocean View Tower accused him of building the addition to his 3,150 square foot property. At about the same time, the Department of Buildings inspected the property and issued a violation for the addition. A second violation was issued 3 months later when the conditions were not corrected. Like, think about how messed up this is, right? So a previous owner does an illegal addition to the property. HOA finds out about it, and since you're now the new owner of this property, you're liable financially to fix the problem. And he's like, yo, I didn't do this and I don't have the funds to fix it, okay? But they kept coming after him anyway. Both violations were eventually dismissed, but the HOA took him to trial over the matter. So Ocean View's lawsuit went to trial with Riccardi losing in December of 2020 and Judge Orlando Marazzo Jr. ordering him to pay $126,000 in legal fees, common charges and other fees related to the extension. Riccardi was later ordered to pay $150 for each day he failed to fix the property. Okay, but what if he doesn't have the money?
Yeah.
What if he doesn't have the money? Okay, let me give you more. At the time, the judge gave Riccardi the option to legalize the apartment by modifying it so it adheres to the building's code, which he failed to do because he doesn't have the money. It takes a lot of money to do that. And this is when things got dicey. Another judge took over the case and made the situation a lot worse. In April of 2021, Judge Lizette Colon, who took over the case after Marazzo retired, ordered Riccardi held in contempt for disobeying court orders to remove the rooftop addition. After a series of delays, Riccardi was jailed for 10 days in January, court papers show. He was released because of health issues. Over the following months, several more court hearings were held and Riccardi tried without luck to find a contractor willing to do the work. But that was only a taste of jail time, because the judge would not budge and ended up sentencing him to more time in Rikers. In late October, Riccardi was sent back to Rikers under an order Cologne issued that cited his misconduct and disobedience and neglect and refusal to comply with orders to remove the illegal addition. Though he's to be released on December 28th, he could be returned to jail if he doesn't move to fix the situation. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
Guys, don't buy anything when you know an HOA is gonna be involved. They're the worst. They're the worst.
So you're gonna like my twist on the story there then in a second, okay? First of all, let's just note that nobody's getting arrested in New York for anything. And this guy goes to Rikers. I mean, right now you go to New York and everything, like the toothpaste, everything is locked up because people can come in and just take it and then they don't even get arrested. And if they do get arrested, they get let out immediately. But this guy has to go to prison because he can't afford the thing that he didn't know he had to afford. So, and it's not like it's a small amount of money, it's a giant amount of money, right? So now you've got to be wondering at this point, why did the judges rule against him? Well, there are laws on the books that say that for real estate, sometimes you could be held liable for what a previous owner did, even though you didn't even know about it. Those are the most unfair laws in America, but they do sometimes exist. And then you can't get out of it. And then you say, I don't have the money. And they go, I don't care. I don't know, bankrupt yourself, do whatever you have to do, jump off a bridge, but you owe something for something you didn't do.
It's insane.
Okay, so now, if I was him, I mean, look, you have to have great lawyers, etc. But the argument that I would say is, wait a minute, I don't owe the money. The HOA owes the money.
Yes.
Okay, why? Because I wasn't here when they did the additions to the house, but the HOA was. So I didn't allow it. You guys allowed it. You guys should have stopped the previous owner. I wasn't even here. It was literally physically impossible for me to stop the previous owner. And by the way, during the process of me buying it, you guys never let me know. Every part of this story has the HOA being responsible and not the owner. So this is a double injustice.
I can say from personal experience that even when the HOA is responsible and there's overwhelming proof that the HOA is responsible, they don't want to take responsibility and somehow find ways to skirt responsibility. Final part of this story is how much money he spent on legal fees. And look, honestly, out of principle, I don't want him to have to spend his money on fixing the addition and bringing it to code. So when I read you these figures, I'm sure a lot of you are gonna be thinking, instead of spending the money on legal fees, he should have just spent the money on fixing the issue with his unit. I disagree with you on that, because again, out of principle, I just think it's wrong to force him to right the wrongs of a previous owner. Anyway, Riccardi has spent more than $425,000 in legal fees and penalties and owes about $100,000 in court penalties. Removing the extension will cost another $300,000 to $500,000. And Riccardi's wife, Anne Marie Porto, 60, said they have no money left.
Yeah.
No, HOAs will destroy your life. That's what they do. That's what they're there for.
I don't know. It's hard to Monday morning quarterback it, but I feel like if he had threatened the HOA with a massive lawsuit or sued them and said you're responsible for this, it's definitely you must pay. I'm going to get it from all of you. They could have reached the détente before it got to all this, but it's easy to criticize it in hindsight. And by the way, guys, don't get me wrong. It might be that he's super stubborn. And Alex Jones was super stubborn. So is there a difference? Of course there's a difference. One is stubborn when they're wrong, the other one is stubborn when they're right, right? And so I could greatly empathize with someone who is stubborn and says, I never should have owed this money and I cannot bear it. And no, I will not participate in an injustice against myself. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.